Morning, fellow zombies. I'm not alive, I'm not awake, and I'm definitely not here. It's 5:54 in the morning, West Coast time. It's the 11th of March, 2024. You're zombie, Weaver John C. of Roseman, California. Yeah, it's that kind of a start of a morning here, Monday, and I still gotta get dishes. I gotta get straightened up in this kitchen here. Stuff put back into a dishwasher and get it run again one more time. Turn on the news, and then I'm almost falling asleep with the damn stuff because I'm hearing about still the reactions regarding the GOP response to that one, and the corporate and independents are still having a field day over that stuff, posting it out like crazy on the platform, especially YouTube. I'm watching. The algorithm still got me logged in for more political claptrap on this one. It's almost putting me into a damn sleepy state here. I missed a Saturday Night Live skit where Katie Britt got her Senator Britt, junior senator from Alabama, if you can call it that. She got her ass handed to her on a silver platter by Saturday Night Live because of her response. Was she really aware of this, that she was going to be ridiculed up the yang yang on this one because of what she's been saying, what she's been going through? I mean, hell, MSNBC Morning Joe kept saying what a wonderful person she was to meet in person, but then turn around and backstab people left and right. I'm like, smiling faces song comes to mind. We were told the stuff, but we just never bothered to listen to the damn lyrics because we were running into the same situation with the politicians back then. We think they're corrupted and crooked these days. Well, shit, they probably were back then, even during our own ancestors' ages. We just didn't have the mass media to keep exposing them left and right. Probably kept it under the covers, so to speak. And now, since we got mass media, 24, actually, it's like 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. We'll invent a day and an hour just to post this stuff out here so we can get it going. We'll get it posted out there. Just completely saturate the airwaves so we can get you upset, ticked off, and get our ratings at the same damn time. It's like whatever's happening, we have to put out the ratings and tell them, yeah, we appreciate this one. We don't like this one. And how dare you say this one? I'm hearing it. I'm seeing it. We got the reporters trying to report any and every angle they possibly can for corporate ratings and even for the independent ratings left and right. They were showing Nancy Mace, Republican representative, getting their butt chewed off, interrogated. Not exactly interrogated, but certain things discussed and a lot of disgust happening regarding the responses and attitudes and the questions. George Stephanopoulos from ABC News doing this week was trying to get to the bottom of Nancy Mace's total 100% support of an orange gas bag who's been in civil court being proved left and right what kind of an incapable human being he is. How insane he is. They never did. I don't think anybody else has brought up a court case, civil or criminal, concerning about about the Trump's mental health and anybody else related to him, whether or not they're considered sane or not. After all the stuff I've been hearing at this point over here, not to mention some of the stuff being posted out, even by him, being regurgitated and reposted all over again through social media, makes me wonder whether or not he actually had any sanity at all. He's that much of a con man, and he's totally into the point of being a democracy destroyer. Shall I call it that? I mean, a Hungary leader comes in, Oban, and he's going to support this joke of a politician who had been in the pinnacle of power for a short time and then brought down into voters by the voters. And he tries to do an insurrection. Didn't work, but the insurrectionists get their asses reamed, and he's still held, you know, he's still innocent, but they know he's not. Because he was the one that caused all the damn shit, but nobody actually bothered to go after him directly on it. Get rid of the support basis as much as you can, but they're still sprouting off like mushrooms and weeds. They all think he's wonderful. So even the dictators across the waters even think they can lie, manipulate, and maneuver Trump into thinking he's one of them. He's not one of them. He doesn't get it. The other guys are doing it for their own damn show, their own damn ego, thinking that their own ego can control anybody else, including Trump. The one thing I hadn't seen him do, the gas bag, is maneuver. Maneuver the press to a point where he's going after people more and more. I mean, his rallies, he gets taped and thrown on social media, but the one thing I hadn't seen him do when he was in office was severely going after the media and trying to curtail them and the Constitution one way or another. I don't know. It's an assumption, a theory, not proven and not fact. If or when he ever gets in office, is he going to be doing maneuvering where freedom of speech is going to be very limited? Reporters are going to be very limited in their capacity due to court orders, where we're going to be ending up close to what Orbán has in Hungary and every other authoritative regime out there closely similar to theirs. That's what they're panicking right now in the corporate media. That's what they're freaking out. That's what they're having a convention fit over. Trump gets in office and all hell breaks loose. If Biden gets in office, are we going to have another insurrection? Are we actually going to have another armed rebellion? Even if we happen to put our faith and trust in one particular person or policy, political party, is going to be enough. They all keep talking, they all keep pushing, and they will keep hammering things out against each other. I'm talking about the political parties, and I'm also talking about corporate media. They'll be trying to raise the issues about what was legitimate, what wasn't legitimate, what was real, and what seems to be on everyone else's mind. Is this damn thing actually happening in our lifetime? I know I'm still awake. I'm still asleep. I want to go back to bed and sleep this shit off, but I can't do that. I got another few more hours to stay up and try to get this place somewhat together. I like to go back to sleep this whole existence off, but I can't even do that either. Because I'm not quite sure if I still want to be awake for America still standing strong, or is she going to be collapsing more and more? And this is what scares me. This is what scares me sometimes in the morning when I'm listening to all this stuff. Fear-mongering, anger, frustration, rage. We want revenge. We want justice. And we have to keep thinking about other people who are going to be wanting what from everybody. We want people to think and act like one particular party, one particular mindset. And it's like we tried to do that in other countries. I'm surprised we haven't gone or actually officially declared ourselves in either in a civil war or in a global war. Let me try to explain that one. We got a lot of civil unrest happening in different areas. Targeted, focused media platforms are trying to put out their content, which the independents are picking up, and interpreting as we have extremists wanting to go to civil war. They'll focus on the individual people on their channels and saying that this person wants to go to war, this person wants to go to war. But yeah, I think we should go to war. I think we should go to war. Without even understanding, we're not talking about just a confrontation when you go head to head with another person and you're going, and the other guy is going, and understand that the First Amendment right gives us the right to at least vocalize our opinions to each other, no matter how horrible they are. We have the right to disagree with the other guy, the other person. But if it comes down for blows, that's a different story altogether. We have the right to dispute it. We have the right to disagree with our politicians that we voted in office or we didn't vote in office. We have that right, concerned about the First Amendment right. But take that right away. Say, oh, I got the right to do this against you. No, you don't. Yes, I do. You're going to jail. The authoritative regimes have that. And we've got some of the people out there wanting that, or even claiming that the Biden administration, through the Department of Justice, is doing that to Donald Trump. And unfortunately, Trump is doing that to himself. He's doing that to himself. I mean, the insurrectionist was the main one I looked at and directly witnessed, like everybody else did on camera. We saw him guiding and goading these people. We saw some of the other people with him guiding and goading these people, this massive amount of people. And then what's the next thing we see on the news? We see anarchy. We see cops getting injured left and right. Protester getting killed in the process of Capitol Police trying to protect the politicians by shooting at them because they're getting that rowdy, that dangerous, and they can't control them. And they had the right to use lethal force, and they did. And a protester went down. We also had a police officer die in the process. A lot of them had to resign because they couldn't take it. And publicized what they went through. Some people think it's still a conspiracy because other people may have started this whole damn shit. No, because the ones that got goaded in by the Trumplicant himself goaded everybody who followed in. Hook, line, suckered. And now they're getting prosecuted left and right in jail for a short time. But a reminder, justice still works. Now, the civil lawsuits are coming out. The state criminal lawsuits are coming out. Barely the federal is coming out during election season. So now we're talking about political prosecution at this point over here. Some of the states we're trying to do banning of the Trump, keeping him off the books. Another Republican they could deal with, but not Trump. The whole country is not with Trump. Not all independents are with him either. The Republican Party has been mutated into the Trumplican Party. Replicated. It's worse than watching the invasion of the body snatchers. Pod people. Instead of a human being, we get a Trumplican coming out of a pod. Of course, I called them maggots. Well, it'll follow the fly's life cycle and where they grow up in. I'll tell you something about them mentally. And they follow the same damn pattern. Everyone wants to be Lord of the Flies. Well, Trump is Lord of the Flies. He wants to have extreme followers, loyalists to him, worship him. And that's disturbing enough as it is. To have that kind of absolute devotion to this guy, to a point where you're making it into a damn religion. White nationalist Christians. Scary. It was disturbing enough to see some kind of pastor out there, so-called pastor, who wants to have and trying to sign up kids to be good Trumplican soldiers. A Christian military academy. Christian military. You know, I would have probably shake my head the same way if I actually heard something about maybe a Holy Roman Empire being reformulated. And everyone starts worshiping Caesar. Caesar being Trump. I think that's what I'm seeing right now as it is. I think that's what I'm interpreting. If I'm getting this wrong or not, I don't know, but we're using Christ as Caesar, but no, we're not using Christ. We're just using the name Christian, but it's still not Christian. Because if you were a Christian, there are certain things in the Bible that Christ never said people should do to follow his name in this particular form or fashion. The only thing that kept popping in my head all the damn time is in the Garden of Gethsemane, where Christ was, fretting with God concerning about Christ's future or immediate future anyway, and Christ's followers were still there, waking up to the fact that Christ got betrayed by Judas, and here's the Roman soldiers. Peter draws out a sword. He's going to fight. He is going to fight and defend Christ. And Christ may have been pissed off about it. He probably been, proud about the damn thing, but he didn't want Peter to die from the damn sword, but he didn't want anything having a major repercussion right there. He says anyone who's going to be using that sword is going to die from it, to paraphrase it. You live by the sword, die by the sword. If you're going to be living in violence, you're going to die by violence. No matter what happens. This is what happens. You're going to be showing this to the other guy. This is what's going to happen. A lifelong cycle of violence. Well, we're already seeing that to this day and age. We're already seeing it perpetuated. Self-perpetuated. Just never stops. How would Christ support his name, his way of life, his way of thinking being used in a way that should not have been in the first place? I mean, he did say, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar, render unto God which is God. I don't think people have gotten the idea about that one. In my own damn interpretation at this point over here, I know we did the taxes, I know we did the laws, freedoms, rules, regulations, core procedures, that kind of situation regarding what the laws of man are supposed to be. I think Christ and God would understand that portion right there. However, absolute devotion, charity, empathy, compassion, humanity. We show this to our brothers and sisters, basically. We show that we're good neighbors. We treat each other decently. We are showing these gifts to God. This is our gift to God, not to Caesar, but to God. So we render unto God, which is Him. The worship, the belief, and treating each other fairly and decently. But if somebody's going to be pulling up a gun and saying, "In the name of God, I submit you to death because God loves you, so we're going to shoot you and sort it out and have him sort it out later." Take out the word shoot. Use a sword. Ancient times. Or use bows and arrows and spears. And maces. And armor and shielding. How many times have we had crusades of any and all sorts used in the name of religion against everybody else, and we think we're doing this in the name of God? Is this what God wanted us to do? Is this what God wanted us to be? Well, I'm going to skull thump you in the head because God told me to. You will die because God told me to. That was some of the stuff I can never quite figure out in the Old Testament on this one. If God so loved his children so much, why the hell did he allow so much damn bloodshed in the first place? Why didn't he have rules and regulations for that one? He did. But unfortunately, other people didn't know about it. And if they did, we still get in this kind of situation where we still have bloodshed left and right. Wasn't somewhere in the book of Exodus, God was trying to talk to Moses and others about it through the commandments, but also through the process and act that we don't have to be this much of a pain in the ass, and yet we were pain in the asses to other people because we must have that land because it is said so. And therefore, we're going to destroy things left and right. If God wanted a shepherd instead of a warrior, but unfortunately, he still had warriors, and therefore they must be trampling on everybody else because this is the name of God doing this. I never quite figured that in the Testament. I never could quite figure that in the Testaments on this one. If God so loved the world, he's going to have bloodshed left and right in his name. I never could quite figure that one out. Eye for an eye, making the whole world blind as hell. Yet the one-eyed man is the king of everybody. Somewhere I got that quote, or paraphrased somewhere. I'm still trying to understand. I'm still trying to cope with the idea that we are so damn screwed up we don't even understand or believe it. We're going to be crusading in the name of someone else, mortal here, who's supposed to be a follower of Christ, but is not. They're going to follow him over an edge. And they'll be screaming his name either in glee, or they're going to be screaming his name in pain, torment, God knows what else. But the people who keep following him and listening to the guy, trying to make the world blind as hell too. Sometimes I have to watch it with myself too. But for me, there are different swords out there. It's not the physical pointy, sharpy thing. I'm keeping a sheath. However, using as an example, you would recognize this. In one form or fashion, these things can be extended. This would be a physical representation or manifestation of a sword. One form or fashion. This is another sword. Put it on a piece of paper and it can come up with whoever's utilizing the sword with verbiage that would, vocabulary, would come up with words formed in a fashion to zing the person's mentality and stick in his head. Of course, physically, somebody could actually probably use it as physical form, but in its proper usage, put it on a piece of paper. Form, function, idea, all in the form of ink on paper. This would also be just as lethal in its proper form, as well as a physical form, lethal as hell. I present your other sword. This is the other sword in the sheath. I have to be extra careful with this damn thing. It scares the hell out of me. But I just wanted to show you. Form and function. Gotta be careful with that damn thing. It's the only one I got. But these are the representations of swords we have in this day and age. It's not just using a revolver or a handgun or a rifle, a bazooka, a mechanized machine of hell. That's another form of sword. Those would be swords if Christ was going to be looking at it from today's point of view. Even the video I'm doing right now is considered a sword if used in that context. I don't think the Trumplicans and I don't think the other people would understand that particular concept. Even the press as themselves are swords. They are searchers for the truth, whatever it may be, or manipulators of reality. And still they can be used as swords. I don't know, something for me to try to think about without falling asleep just yet. Not that it is boring, but when I function with lack of sleep and not enough caffeine, well, I'm just as useless as anything else these days. So...